Hey everybody, how are you doing? The professor right here with another video, and I guess you guys are doing very fine. So watch this video up to the end so that you can understand all the concepts of linear programming, how to shade, how to graph, how to find the maximum profit. Watch guys, this will help you. Thank you. Hey guys, how are you doing? Hopefully you've seen this question, the request from one of my subscribers right here. The professor is right here writing an exam. Let's see how the professor can manage to find this question right over here. Of course, we need a graph paper. You can see this is a graph paper. It's really needed. But there are some few things that I want you to understand. I want you to understand what it means when we say at least. When we say at least right here. Okay, so let me read through the question so that we can have an idea of what is going on right here. So Maplanga's carpentry shop makes two types of chairs, type A and type B, for sale. The cost of making one chair of each type is a 2,000 kwacha. Okay, the shop has that's 140,000 kwacha. Those are the points, or these are the things that we must be getting right here. Okay, so available for making chairs. The number of chairs of type A must be at least 20, okay, while the number of type B must be at least 10. Now look at this guys. Here they are saying if X is the number of chairs of type A, okay, and Y is the number of chairs of type B, write three inequalities which represent these conditions. All right, without wasting our time, the word at least simply means greater or equal to. So let me start with this inequality. Let me just show you here. So if I want to write this, I know that it's type A. So if they say at least 20, I know type A is being represented using X. I'll say X is greater or equal to 20. That's it. And then for this one, I'll say Y is greater or equal to 10. That's it. I've got two inequalities here. I'm remaining with one more. So the other inequality is coming from this point. They are saying the cost of making one chair, okay, one chair of each type is 2,000 kwacha. So I'm going to say the cost is 2,000, okay? And then I know that type A is being represented using letter X. And then I'll say plus type B, which is being represented using letter Y. These must not exceed, must be less or equal to the total amount that this person has, okay, which is 140,000 kwacha, okay. So if you get the total of the X's price and the total of the Y's must not exceed the entire money which this person had. So this is another inequality. Okay, I can even simplify this. I can divide by 2,000 by 2,000 so that this and this will cancel out to remain with X plus Y must be less or equal to a 70. I know that 2,000 into this, it will just be 70. So this is the third inequality right over here. So get your graph paper, of course. You come on this corner, you write this is question 7, and then you say A, you want the inequalities. So the first inequality is Y, whichever, I can start whichever order, it's okay. So I'll start with Y is less or equal to 10, and then followed by X is Y is greater or equal to 10, followed by X is greater or equal to 20. And lastly, I'll write my inequality, the third one, which is X plus Y is less or equal to 70. So these are the three inequalities. For question number B, they're saying using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 10 chairs on each axis, draw X and Y axis for 0 is less or equal to 70. Even here the same. So this scale and this scale, they are important. We are moving in tens. Can you see 10? We'll be moving in tens both ways, and we're ending at 70. So for linear programming, in case you don't know, the professor likes encouraging his students that you must be starting at this point. You put your 0 here, and then you move in tens. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. That's our x-axis. We're done with our x-axis. So we can show our x-axis. We draw our x-axis. So it's like this. Hopefully you're able to see. This is our x-axis, okay? Like that. So you even indicate that this is x-axis. For the y-axis also, we're moving in tens. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Just like that, okay? You also do the same for the y-axis. For the y-axis, okay? Oof. So make sure you use a pencil, okay, when doing this, so that in case you make mistakes, it's very easy for you to erase. So this is our y-axis, okay? So I'm using a pen so that you guys can see what you're supposed to do. But in an actual exam, use a pencil for everything here, okay? So now, we can start drawing this. So they're saying y is greater or equal to 10. So you go to the y-axis. This is a y-axis, guys. Where can you see 10, or where are you able to see 10? 10 is right here on the y-axis. So draw a line going like this, cutting the y-axis at 10. So this is my line right here, okay? So since they've said y is greater or equal to 10, okay? So your shading must be the opposite. You see, they are saying greater. And when you look at this line, which side is greater? Is it this side of 10 or this side of 10? It's the top side which is greater. So you're going to shade the opposite, which is the less, like this, okay? You should not be facing difficulties on this one. Please remember that you always shade the opposite. And this is the opposite, which I'm shading right here. Your work must look neat. Your work must be smart. That's it. You can see the professor right here. His work is doing good, or is looking good, so to say. So this is how your work must look like, so that when the examiner is marking you, or the markers are marking you, they are able to see, not struggling to find your answers. So the next one is x is greater or equal to 20. You go to x because x is what has been mentioned. 20 is right over here. So you do the line like that, passing through 20, okay? So this is my line right here. It must pass through 20.20. You can see. So they said it's greater. So x is greater or equal to 20. Now, when you look at the x-axis, this is the x-axis. Which side is greater? It's to the right-hand side. This is less. We're going to shade the opposite, which is less. Remember, I'm using the word opposite. This must be the key point to remind you that always when shading linear programming, you shade the opposite. What has not been mentioned, or the opposite of what has been mentioned. In this case, they said x is greater or equal to 20. So your shading must be the less. You see, this is the less where I'm shading. This is where you must shade. Remember, this is a key point. And lastly, we need to show or to shade x plus y is less or equal to 70. So for this inequality, it will pass at 70 on the y-axis. You see, y-axis has been mentioned. It will pass at 70. The x-axis also, it will pass at 70. This is where 70 is, right here. Okay. So you do this. You make your line pass through 70 on both axes. So it's passing at 70 here and 70 right here. So since it's less, look at this. Can you see the line? When you look at this line, this is the less. The greater is right here. If you want, you can even move your ruler like this. You see that this is your less, this is your greater. It's still greater or less. So we want the opposite, which is the greater. We're going to shade the greater right here. And this is the greater, which we are shading right over here. Hopefully, you can see what is happening here. This is what you are expected to do right here without wasting your time, okay? So that's a greater we've shaded right here. So once you do that, you can even indicate that this is my error, okay? and then you pick the points. I want to use these points. I like encouraging my students that pick the points so that you don't forget whichever points where these inequalities are meeting. So you can see this and this, they are meeting here. This is 60, 10. So 60, 10. For this one, this is 20, 10. For this one, it's 10. Is it 20? 20, 15. So that's what we have. You can see that. So to answer the next question, you need these coordinates. That's why it's very important that you put them. I'm not saying they're part of the solution, but it's really important that you show these inequalities. I mean, these points. So once you do this, you can, of course, answer the next question, given that the profit on type A chair is 60 and on type B is 30. How many chairs of each type should be made for maximum profit? So here, what we're going to do, get these values. That's 60. 60 is forward, type A, which is X, okay? And then you say plus 30 for type B, which is Y. You don't know what's supposed to be here. So you need this inequality. You can indicate that this is question B, of course, B. So it's, I say, 60X plus 30Y is equal to, we don't know, okay? So you start trying the coordinates, okay? Which one will give you the maximum? I've tested. This one is supposed to give us the maximum, this one. So you're going to write 60, open bracket, 60 there, plus 30, 10. So you write the coordinates. So I'm just from testing here. You can even use the calculator. It says 60, open bracket, 20, close, plus 50, is it 30? 30, open, close, it's 50 there. This is giving us a 2,700. This one will give us a low price. This one will give us the highest, because if we do this, at this point, we're going to get a 3,600 plus. Here, we'll get a 300. And when we work out further here, it will give us a 3,900 kwacha. So this is what is giving us the maximum. So we can say we need type A, we need 60, okay? We need 60 chairs, and type B, we need 10 chairs, okay? It's very hot. The professor is getting tired. So please understand, bear with me. Let me take it easy for you. Once you identify these points, okay, you start testing them. You come up with this, what we call function, objective function. This is an objective function to help you determine which one will give you the highest price. So where there is X here, you put the X axis, and where there is Y, you put the Y axis. You work out, you see the value that you're going to get here. You also see the value that you're going to get here and here. So the highest is what you're going to follow. In this case, our highest is this one. So now, since this is our highest, we're going to say the X axis, that's type A, we need 60. And the Y axis, it's type B, we need 10. Just like that. This is how you work out these guys. Okay. And then for the last question, which is question D, they are saying calculate the maximum profit. Guys, to calculate the maximum profit, just get this value that you have found here, the answer that you found here, to be equal to your answer for question D right here. That's all. Okay. Actually, this is question C. This is question C. For B, it was graphing. For A, it was these inequalities, listing them. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully, you've learned one or two things right here. Please share the video. Leave a comment in the comment section below. This has been your Professor Jacob Sichamba right over here. Thank you, and bye-bye.